Okay, so much for that. Let us now proceed to the main topic of this chapter, which is the development of effective assessment tools. So, what's man dining effective assessment tools? So, kaning assessment tools sa affective domain are used to assess attitudes, interest, motivations, and self-efficacy sa usa ka learner. So, unsa din ning affective domain? Affective domain refers to students' attitudes, values, dispositions, and ethical perspectives. So, karon atong akatunan kung unsa maning mga assessment tools nga atong gamiton aron ma-assess ang affect sa usa ka learner. So, last reporter, they discussed the term affect. So, unsa ka totong affect? So, ang affect, a number of non-cognitive variables such as person's attitude, interest, and values. And when we say affective, it refers to a variety of traits and dispositions that are different from knowledge, reasoning, and skills. And technically, this term means the emotions or feelings that one has toward someone or something. So they also discussed why is it important to assess affect of a learner. So ang kinaanhan to, educators should be interested in assessing affective variables because these variables are excellent predictors of students' future behavior. Ang ikaduha, to remind themselves that there's more to being a successful teacher than helping students obtain high scores on achievement tests. Then lastly, it helps teachers teach more effectively on a day-to-day basis. So, ang example nga gihatag nila adto is ang film showing. So, syempre, kung ato mahibaw-an ang effect sa usa ka estudyante, mahimo jud tang mas epektibo kay maghibaw na taon sa mga atong himuon aron mas mainteresado sila sa ato ang diskusyon. So, moving on. Okay, this is our chapter intended learning outcome. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to develop instruments for assessing effective learnings. So, according to our reference, the relevance of affective targets, attitude traits, and how these concepts are related to student learning were discussed in the preceding chapter. So, kaning assessment of the affective domain is one of the requirements of the 21st teaching learning proposition. So, that's why we have to learn about this. A holistic approach is required so as to have a meaningful evaluation of student learning. So, unsa man dining holistic approach? So, holistic approach, it means to provide support that looks at the whole person, not just their mental needs, kundi apil na pod ang physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. So, as a whole na jud siya, dili ra ingon og focus sa mental health. So, tanan, physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and mental. So, motto again, a holistic approach is required to have a meaningful evaluation of student learning. Okay, in this chapter, there are various instruments or tools that can be used, but each has its own focus and each instrument is designed to cater to a specific purpose. So, again, in this chapter, there are various methods and assessment tools that can be used to assess the affective domain of a learner. So, again, kaning affective domain refers to students' attitudes and values, dispositions, and ethical perspectives. So, there are samples also that are provided to help us craft our own affective assessment tools as we go along in our discussion for this afternoon. Okay? Cognitive and affective domains are inseparable aspects of a learner. So when we say inseparable, unable to be separated, dili jud na siya magbuwag. syempre magkuyog gyud ang cognitive and affective domain kay lain-lain man sila og fokusan. So ato hinumduman nga ang cognitive domain nag-focus siya sa thoughts sa usa ka estudyante. Example, learning, thinking, remembering, mga nga na understanding. So kung affective domain pod, lahi na pod siya. It is about more on feelings. Unsay imuhang emotions and attitudes sa usa ka estudyante. So mao nang dili gyud siya buwagon kay dili man pwede og ang i-assess ra is ang cognitive, ang affective dili. So mao ni siya nga inseparable aspects ni siya sa usa ka learner. So kada usa ani mo complete sa one another with respect to learners' important domains. Proper ongoing assessment of the affective domain is essential in any efforts to improve academic achievement and the quality of the educational experience provided. But sad to say, the practice of routinely assessing learners' affective constructs are often left behind, and focus is given most of the time to assessing learners' cognitive aspect. In addition, unlike cognitive domain, less assessment tools are available for the affective construct. So, in this chapter, the development of affective assessment tools will be discussed, and at the end of this chapter, we will be equipped to craft a proper affective assessment tools. Okay? So, this chapter's discussion has 3 parts. So, ang first is methods of assessing affective targets. So, there are methods nga i-discussed sa akong mga co-reporters. So, ang second part is about utilizing the different methods and or combinations of methods in assessing affect. So, nakahibaw naman ta kung unsa ang mga methods. So, unsaon nakahapod ni paggamit, utilizing the different methods or sagulon ba ang mga methods aron ma-assess ang affect sa usa ka learner. So, ang third part is the affective assessment tools. So, mao na ni i-discuss na unya kung unsa maning mga affective assessment tools nga angay natong gamiton, and there are also examples that are provided. So, dako na ni siya nga tabang nato. So, without further ado, let's proceed to the first, which is methods of assessing affective targets, to be discussed by Miss Lady May Agan.